All right. So we are back with our podcast. We took a bit of a 2-year hiatus from doing podcasts. So in case you aren't familiar with us, because I think we only did I don't know what, like 8 or 9 podcasts. I can't remember. This is Jocks with Docs. My name is Brad. I'm a former corpsman, and my co-host is Travis, who is also a corpsman as well. And so we just like to talk about sports and kind of some other stuff that interests us. So I think this week we were going to discuss a few things. The first thing we were going to talk about was the NFL season that's going to be starting up. Who are your picks as far as each division, and how do you kind of foresee the season going?
First off, welcome back. Welcome back. It's nice. I'm glad we're able to do this Thursday. Missed it. I love talking sports, obviously, and talking sports with you is even better. So
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it. Football. So let's start in the NFC, because I actually think the NFC is a little more wide open. The AFC is loaded again this year. I mean, that's every year, right? But this year, I think it's more than normal. So let's get into NFC. So starting the NFC West, I got the Niners. I don't see anyone beating them. I do like what the Seahawks, and my dark horse is the Rams. I do like what the Rams are doing. They drafted well. Stafford, if he's healthy. I mean, I thought he had an excellent year last year. We'll see if he can keep it. He's got to stay healthy, and that's a big if for him. He's older, right? He's 36 now, so you worry about that.
And they don't have a backup.
They don't have a backup, but their offensive line is better.
Yeah.
So they drafted 2 offensive good rookies, right? A center and a guard. So I don't think the center is going to start, but at least their guard should have a chance. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But NFC West, and then you have the Cardinals. They're not going to challenge anyone. So that leads you with the 49ers, right? So the Niners, Purdy, CMC,
if Purdy can stay consistent. Now, so far in preseason, he's been a little bit shaky.
Yeah, but Ayuk's not there. That's big.
Yep.
You need a healthy receivers, right? That's number one. Their line is going to dominate. Offense and defensive line is 2 of the best in the league, right? On both sides of the ball. Offensively, you don't worry about them, or defensively, worry about Purdy.
Yeah.
Can he stay healthy? Can he stay consistent? I think he does. I think they win that division running away. I don't see anyone stopping them. Okay, then we'll go to the NFC South, which I think is the most toss-up division. But I'm going to give me the Falcons in NFC South. Yeah. What do you think about that? I like what they did.
Definitely. I mean, Cousins, solid quarterback.
Yep, Bijan Robinson, second year. I like that they got Judon from the Patriots. I thought that was a huge get.
That's a big trade.
They need pass rush. They were the worst last year in getting after the passer. I mean, it was...
Which is kind of shocking with the draft that they didn't take a lineman in the draft. Yes, they passed over to Penix.
Yes, which was
shocking.
It is shocking, but I do think they're thinking down the road. 2 years, $100 million. That's what they gave Kirk.
Or if Cousins, his Achilles flares up again, or ends up re-injuring it.
It's only 1 year guaranteed. Then it's only $50 million. So I mean, I think it was a gamble that they were worth taking. And Penix is. I think Penix. Did you see him in preseason? He looks the part, making the throws. So, but you worry about his knee. He's got a bulky right knee. So,
and he's not the most solid. I mean, Lamar Jackson's a fairly solid quarterback.
Yes, and Lamar's 6'3", only 6 feet. They listen to this one
smaller guy.
Yeah, he's smaller build, but he does move well in the pocket though.
Right.
So, and he can't move. I mean, he is a pocket passer. Don't get me mistaken about that, but he can move,
Right.
So I think they'll be fine. Let him sit for 2 years, learn from Kirk, a very good professional. So, and then who else do you have in the NFC South? I think the
Panthers.
I think the Bucs won it last year, so I do think the Bucs will compete with Mike Evans. They re-signed Winfield. I think they had to do that safety.
Right.
But yeah, I just don't see the Buccaneers. I like Baker Mayfield last year, but I don't know if he's that dude to get them over the hump. So they'll need some more help. And then you got to look at the Panthers.
Saints.
Panthers are terrible, and then the Saints. I think the Panthers end up in last place. I
You
do
don't
think
think
the
they
Saints.
take a small leap forward with Bryce Young as
I do think they improved significantly on offense, especially with they got Deontay Johnson from us from my Steelers, right? So that was a
right?
good pickup. They got a number one now to help out, but they don't look at their offensive line is terrible. Defensively, they got rid of Brian Burns. He went to the Giants. I think that
Yep.
was a huge get. We'll talk about the NFC East next year. But we'll see. I don't know. I just don't see. Don't get me wrong, I like the quarterback. I just don't think this will be the year that he takes the big jump. That'll be next year.
Right. And
So
then, of
the
course,
Saints,
Cars with the Saints. I mean,
yeah, but it's the same with them. It's
they got
Carr.
too many
He's
holes,
too many holes. He's getting paid a lot of money.
and
He didn't
he's
work out in
getting up there in
Vegas.
age.
Getting up there in age. Didn't work out in Vegas with his best friend Devontae from California. College at Fresno State there in Cali. But all right, and now we'll move to the NFC East. I think is probably the most competitive division. This, and to me, the NFC East and the NFC North and NFC, the two most competitive. So the NFC East, I'll start off with the Cowboys.
You think the
Um,
Cowboys are going to win it?
no, I'm not picking them to win it, but I'm
Okay.
starting with the Cowboys because I think they got a lot of holes.
Oh yeah.
They got a lot of holes, but I do like. I've always been a fan of Dak Prescott. I know he gets a lot of shit, but last year he was in the MVP running. He had
Right.
a solid year. He was not the reason why they lost that playoff game. It was the offensive line, 100%. They did not block. They were banged up, but he had no time. I mean, I don't care who you put back there. You can put Jesus back there. He wasn't throwing the ball.
Right.
You need time, right? So the Cowboys. So Dak, CeeDee Lamb, still not in camp. You got a
Pay the
week
man.
left. You got a week left.
Just
So Justin
just pay
Jefferson
him.
just got signed for 35 million. He wants at least 33. That's out of his mouth, out of him and his agent's mouth. So how
Right.
does Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones not give him 33?
I mean, it's
I mean,
pay the man.
he's pay the man. Dude's worth it. Okay.
Right.
All right. That's Cowboys. Micah Parsons defensively, they're going to be fine. They got to stay healthy. That problem last year is they banged up in the secondary, lost Diggs
Yep.
for the year. Bland got hurt. The guy that had 6 pick sixes, NFL record. That was amazing last year. He got injured, so they're with the Cowboys defense. But no, I'm not picking the Cowboys to win it. The team I'm picking to win it is the Eagles, and I do
Yep.
think this is the reason why I think they're going to be better. Number one, they got a new offense coordinator who I think is going to be good for them. And he's coming from the Cowboys organization. Make it make sense, right? But I do think he's going to be better
Yep.
for Jalen because he's going to let Jalen do what Jalen did in college at Oklahoma. And I think you're going to see it, and when he was at Alabama, but mainly at Oklahoma, open up the playbook, let him do what he used to do, instead of trying to make him just a prototypical drop back, 3 step,
Right.
5 step. That's not Jalen. He's not Peyton Manning. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Elway. He's Jalen Hurts, more of a
RPO.
Cordell Stewart / Lamar Jackson, kind of like a slash. That's more his role, and let
Right.
him do it. He's accurate. He just doesn't have the arm strength to throw every route that you need to in the NFL unless he's off. So he's very good off script. When things break down, that's when Jalen's at his best. They're like
And I,
backyard football, like Ben Roethlisberger.
well, I
He's like
think a lot of teams now are starting to kind of go towards the college playbooks. They're more doing a RPO style offenses
yes,
versus the drop back quarterbacks. You're not
I,
seeing as many of those anymore as you did,
yeah,
when
I
Manning
do.
and Brady was around.
Yeah, I agree, and you're starting to see better quarterback play for that too, because we
Right.
do have a lot of good young quarterbacks right coming up, and a lot that were just drafted this year too,
Yeah,
and
this
coming down.
draft was probably I would say, as good of a draft as 1983 as far as
83
quarterbacks.
with Marino, Elway, all them.
All
Yes,
right.
I would agree with you. And what about the 2004 one with Big Ben, Eli, Philip
Right.
Rivers?
Yeah.
Those three
That
Hall
was a
of
good
Famers.
draft cast.
That was really good. But I still think 83 was the best. You got
Right.
Elway, you got Marino. Hello, two of
Yep.
my favorites. I do think how Marino got to the Dolphins, got past the Pittsburgh. That's for another day. That really still pisses me off. And I was born in 1983, so that definitely pisses me off. But
Right.
yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the Eagles. So now you have the receivers. Offensive line is one of the best in the league, even though they lost
Saquon
Kelsey.
Barkley.
Saquon Barkley coming in is huge from the Giants. So you take away from your rival, right,
Yep.
NFC rival, and now you put him in the back. That's just going to open up their offense that much more. Think about it. Jalen Hurts, um, uh,
AJ
who did we?
Brown.
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on the
Yep.
outside.
Yep.
What's his name running in the young guy in the slot? What's the young guy they drafted? I can't remember his name. And they just
Hmm.
traded for Jamar Dotson for the Commanders, so he's going to be
Yep.
their slot guy, and he's 6'4". So then let's go to their tight ends. They got good tight ends, two good tight ends, blocking tight ends, and then
Yep.
you go to their defense, and they're loaded again at defense. Defensive
Yep.
line, linebacker, I think is a little to be. I think it could be improved there, but they're still young there. But on the back end is their strength. Defensive
Yep.
line is their number one strength, but on the back end, the safeties and the corners now, so they're going to be much better there. So I got the Eagles. Commanders, I'm excited to watch the Commanders actually for the first time in a long time, maybe
Yep.
because of Jaden Daniels. I like him a lot. I don't think he should have. I don't think he should have went to the Commanders. I like that he went there, but I don't know how you don't draft him. Like, I just don't get it. Like, how do you let him slide by you? You know, it's kind of like the whole Mahomes thing, or how Lamar Jackson
Yep.
fell, and everyone's like, "Oh, let Lamar go down. He won't be a good quarterback." Well, two-time MVP should be three-time MVP, but he lost the 1 year. He won last year, right?
And
He
that's the
won
thing,
last year.
like, I really can't understand with some of these. I don't know if it's the scouts on these teams or what exactly, or if they're maybe listening to too many of the pundits on TV, or what it is how some of these quarterbacks get passed over the way they do. And then they end up, it's like everything, like freaking Mel Kiper, everything he says, he's consistently freaking wrong about.
He's
And
been wrong, and I like Mel, but he's a Raven fan. At the end of
right,
the day, he goes to, he loves his Ravens, and sometimes he's a little biased. You can see it. I do think it's hard. The draft is hard. It's there's no science to it. It's you scout all year to see who you want, and you go to these colleges, you see them, right? You even see them as early as high school now. I mean, they're going out to the high schools before they're even in college, so you kind
right.
of see what they're working with, how they're maturing their body, what they look like. But I don't understand how so many quarterbacks are being missed. They're missed. When I say missed, they're being misdrafted. So you're drafting Mitch Trubisky,
Yep.
Drake May, who I don't think is going to be good. I can tell you right now, he's going to
He's
be
going
a
to
bust.
be
He's
Trubisky
going to be a
2.0.
bust. 100%. He's not even as athletic as Trubisky. At least Trubisky had some athleticism.
Well, and he played in North Carolina. I'm sorry, but North
With
Carolina's team is not competitive with some of the bigger teams like Georgia or
yes,
LSU or that. Those are your teams that are pro ready. So North Carolina playing against some of the smaller schools that aren't. That's not giving these guys any sort of
exactly. And so that's my point.
competition.
How do you pass up Jaden Daniels and go for Drake May? Make it make sense. I don't
It
understand.
doesn't.
And the Patriots,
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
what the hell are they doing? Because they could have had him, right? Could have
Yeah,
had him. They didn't take him. Okay, all right. So let's get out the Commanders, and now we'll go to the Giants, who I do think the Giants
bottom of the barrel.
bottom of the barrel. I'm not a fan of Daniel Jones, but I do like
Nope.
their draft, though. I do like their draft, and I think they take the quarterback next year. Malik Neighbors is a stud. He is immediately improves their offense. But Daniel Jones is not. He's not the guy. We know that.
No,
We all
not at
know
all.
that. So, all right. So now let's go to the NFC North, which is another fun division.
That
And
division is stacked.
in that division, I know everyone's picking the sexy pick, the Packers, but I'm going to stick with the Lions. I just think the Lions are the most complete team in that division. I love their coach, Campbell.
Yep.
I do think Goff is got a lot to prove, and I think he's going to do it this year. Uh, I thought statistically he had a year better than the year they went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. He was
Right.
consistently making big throws. Amon-Ra St. Brown, two-headed horse and running back with Jamal
Yep.
Gibbs, and David Montgomery. That's Thunder and Lightning. Offensive line, I think, is the best in football. I don't think we can argue. They have the best offensive line in football. They proved it last year. And then defensively, I think they drafted well with
Aiden Hutchinson.
Hutchinson from Michigan. I like their back end. I like their safety play. I like their corner play. Their linebackers are a little undersized, a lot like the Buccaneers the year they won that Super Bowl
Yep.
recently, but they can fly sideline to sideline. They're going to hit. They're going to tackle like their coach, a linebacker, middle linebacker in the NFL, Dan Campbell. So we'll see. I think it's going to be good. They got weapons all over the place. From the tight end, Sam Laporta, who I think is I mean, guns from tight end U. I mean, they just pump out tight ends at Iowa, right? University of Iowa. So
Yep.
that's what they do. So we'll see. Now let's talk about the Packers. I love Jordan Love, but I think offensively they're going to take a step back because running back I think is a huge hit. I know they got what's his name from Jacobs, but he's not the same.
Not what he used to be.
Not what he used to be. He's got a lot of tread. He had the most carries 2 years ago. Remember, over 400 touches. So I think he's starting to break down. I think it was a mistake for them to let what's his name go to Minnesota. I think they're going to regret that, but we'll see. Minnesota ain't going anywhere. McCarthy's out for the year, so we'll get to them. We'll get to them next. But yeah, and Darnold is. We know he's not it, and he went to my school, and I know he went in college, right? So
McCarthy getting hurt was that sucked so bad. I feel bad for him. That was
brutal. Yeah, because he looked good. He looked good.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to see what he was going to do, and I just felt terrible. Not only for him, for the team, they were rallying around him. And now his season's over. But you know what? He's young. He's only 22, so technically he should be a senior in college, right? So look at it as a red shirt.
He came out a year early.
Came out a year earlier, so we'll just look at it as a red shirt. He's not even 22 yet. He's actually 21.
Yeah.
So he'll be 22 later this year. So, okay, so now the
Bears will be much improved.
Bears will be much improved with Caleb. The receivers, I think, are the best. I think they have the best receiving core right now. DJ Moore, a Pro Bowler, which he wasn't last year. They got how did he not make the Pro Bowl last year? He got robbed. Keenan Allen made the Pro Bowl.
Right.
And then you got who I think one of the best receivers coming out, Rome Odunze. I like Rome. I like Malik Neighbors. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going to watch the receivers a lot this year because I do think the receiver class this year, they will all be wearing gold jackets. All three of them.
Right.
Will be wearing gold jackets. Yeah. It's a lot like the year that you had Terrell Owens, what's his name from the Jaguars, Keenan McCardle, all those guys. Even though Keenan's probably not going to make it to the Hall of Fame, he had Hall of Fame numbers. I just think he's going to come up short, but that's for another day too. But the receiving class is good. Larry Fitzgerald, that class that he came out in, what was that, 2003? He was a year before Big Ben and them, right? So he came out a year before.
Yeah.
2003, yeah. So that was a very good class, receiver class too. AJ Green, there's a couple of the good ones too. But and the Bears defensively, I like them. Jalen Johnson, Stevenson at the corner, other corner, Jalen. Safeties love him. Brisker, he's kind of a safety linebacker. He does both. Love him. And then you got the defensive line, I think is going to be their weakness, though, because you got Sweat, but who's opposite of Sweat? So they got to find that guy. So I don't know. They got to find him. And then let's talk about the AFC now, right? We're going to get in the AFC now. Oh, we didn't talk about the Vikings.
Yeah, we kind of briefly touched on them.
Yeah, they're gonna. I think the Vikings finish.
They'll finish fourth.
They finished fourth, and I don't think it would have been that way with McCarthy. I think they would have been battling
with
but now
Chicago.
With Chicago, but yeah, now they're going to end up at the bottom, unfortunately, for them. Okay, so let's get to the AFC. So we'll start. We'll do the same thing. AFC West. Start with the Chiefs. Super Bowl. They get faster with Xavier Worthy. I mean, runs a 4.21, and I mean, come on, man. The rich get richer. You just shake your head. The Bills had an opportunity to draft Xavier Worthy. They needed a receiver. You just let Diggs, Stephon go walk out to Houston. So why would you not take Xavier at the 30th pick? And it's like,
I don't know.
I just rolled my eyes.
And he traded with the Chiefs.
That's what
I'm saying. You traded with your rival. Why would you?
And they didn't take a receiver. Make it make sense.
You can't.
You can't. So the Chiefs.
And that's why they won't get over the hump.
They're not going to get over the hump, the Bills. But the Chiefs will be back in the AFC Championship. You can book it. Book it now. I hope they don't go to the Super Bowl. I hope the Ravens dethrone them. I don't think my Steelers are even making the playoffs this year. We might slide in there like we did last year, sneak in or whatever. But you got the Ravens, possibly the Jaguars if they can stay healthy too. Miami. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the AFC that can knock them off. Buffalo's another one, but
Bengals
are. So you got 5 teams right there. One of them, let's keep Mahomes and Travis out of the freaking thing. Let's go. Okay, so I love the Chiefs. Love Kelsey. Love their line. Defensively, I do think they take a step back. Losing Ladarius Sneed to the Titans, that's going to hurt. That's a true number one. He's a shutdown corner. Yes, he led the league in penalties, but guess what? He's physical. That's what happens when you're a physical Pro Bowl All-Pro corner. He's handsy, and sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't.
Yep.
So, what do you feel about the Chiefs? What do you think about them?
I mean, they're the best team in football. There's just no doubt about it. As long as you got Mahomes, they'll be fine. And if he goes down, then you might be in trouble. But
they'll be they're still a good team, though. I still think they can rally, but you can't lose Mahomes. He is the best player in football, and it's not even close.
Yep.
Not even close. Okay, so now we'll
I
move.
think they'll have a tougher time against. I mean, I'm freaking biased as hell.
Well, yeah, the Ravens.
Just because I'm a Broncos fan, but
and Broncos,
I think I think the Broncos are much improved from last year. Obviously, like they got the freaking cancer out of their locker room and sent him packing. He was just not a fit, and now they got Knicks.
It not only was not a fit, it was not a fit with Sean Payton, because I do think he would have been fine in that locker room. It's with Sean Payton. You have two huge egos, and Sean is saying, I'm the pit bull. There can only be one pit bull, right? So you guys are paying him $38 million
to be on the team.
Yes, $38 million to not be on the team. But you know what? The Walmart trust fund baby owns your Broncos now. So
they'll be fine.
$38 million to him, Brad, is $3.80 to us. They'll be fine.
But now they got Bo Nix, who's looking freaking probably the best quarterback might be the best quarterback in the draft. I don't know. Like Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels are good. Bo Nix is right there with him.
100%. Now, he's not athletically as gifted as Jaden or Caleb, but you know what?
Right.
He has the biggest arm. That's a fact. No doubt. He's got the
measurables. He can read defenses. He's 6'6". He's smart.
And he's 6'6". You can't teach that.
No.
He could take a hit. He took a hit. Auburn first, and then when he transferred to Oregon, right?
And he was the most efficient quarterback in Oregon, last year with freaking...
In college football history. 77.4%. Yeah,
which is
I know.
Nuts.
I remember because I thought it was I thought we were playing NCAA 25.
And then his numbers as far as his quarterback or touchdowns to interception ratio was nuts too.
Yeah,
it was like 45 to freaking like 7 or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Tom Brady in the NFL. It was wild. It's video game numbers.
It's not like Oregon wasn't playing, bottom of the barrel teams. I mean, you got USC, Washington. That's still a tough conference.
UCLA was top 25 too. They played some good teams, but they played some soft ones too. Stanford was trash. Washington State was trash, but Washington was in the top 10. Well, shit, they went to the to the playoffs with Rome Odunze and Michael Penix and Jalen Polk, right? The rookie wide receiver for the Patriots. So they definitely Bo Nix showed that he can compete with the best. And he stayed healthy. That was the thing they worried about him after he transferred from Auburn. After he had that horrible knee injury, he didn't show any signs of being scared.
Nope.
He was throwing the ball in that last game I watched. I couldn't believe how easily it was coming off them fingertips and flying. One throw I can think of, the one that he hit Sutton over the middle, was only like a 26-yard catch, but Sutton got up and was just like, wow, the ball was on him in an instant.
Right as soon as he turned. He was right there.
That's how it should be. You're out of your break. Right. I mean, he makes that turn on his in. It was probably like a dig route, I think, but as soon as he hits that right foot and plants, the ball's on the numbers. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that is something that you, as a receiver, you love that, of course.
From what I understood, he's got freaking a very, savvy football mind as far as like, kind of like being Peyton Manning and everything like that. Just very smart.
Yeah, that's what they said. His IQ's off the chain. Yeah, and I kind of wish they would have. You remember how they used to do the quarterback, John Gruden, come in and have him break down?
Oh yeah.
I wish I would have liked to see Bo Nix do that with John.
Right. Maybe they'll do that. Well, I guess they can't.
Caleb. Yeah, because Caleb too is very high IQ. I mean, loves the game, studies the game. And Peyton Manning raves about Caleb Williams and Bo Nix, both of them.
Yeah.
He hasn't really seen too much of Jaden yet, even though Jaden won the Heisman, but we'll see. Athletically, they're all blessed, of course. I do think this is going to go down as one of the best quarterback classes, but I still think, you can mark my words, Drake May will be the bust of the draft. I don't know what the Patriots were thinking. They had a chance to take Daniels they couldn't take Caleb. They wanted Caleb. I understand that, but you
Right.
could have took Daniels, or you could have took Bo Nix, which would have
Yep.
been a good fit too. But that's their problem. Good
Yeah.
for your Broncos. So,
Yep.
so
Worked out for us. I'll take it.
yeah, and then let's keep talking about your Broncos. So on defensive side, I like what you guys did there too. You get Surtain some help,
Yep.
by getting them a veteran cornerback for him to look up to. The safety, even though you guys lost Simmons, I do like your young ones. You drafted the safety too out of
Yep.
college. He looks good. So we'll see. I think the
The
linebackers will be
line's
better.
good.
Yeah, the line has been good. This line, I think, will be solid this year too. You got to stay healthy. I mean, that's every
Yep.
team, right? Defensive line is one of those that you see a lot of injuries because,
The
hello, you're taking on
linebackers, we
guys.
got Nick
So,
Benito, and then
yep, and I like
Alex
him.
Singleton as
Yep,
inside, and then you got Jonah Ellis, who they drafted, who's really good.
yep. The
So
speed, another speed
yeah,
guy. So they had sideline to sideline. Yeah, so they're smaller, and that's okay. You can do that in that system, in the
right.
system that your DC is running now. You would not run that in what the Ravens have. You need big
No,
linebackers, or or even worse, my Steelers. You can't have small linebackers. Like we took Patrick Queen from the Ravens. I
right.
thought Queen would have been a good matchup for the Broncos. Actually, I think the Broncos wanted him, but he ended up choosing the Steelers,
Signing with the
probably
Steelers,
because
yeah.
of division and
Right.
money. Who doesn't want $15 million a year? Hello. So,
Yep.
all right. So now let's
But
so
yeah,
that's
I
the
mean they
Broncos.
were I think 8-9 last year with Russell Wilson. So now, you don't have a guy that couldn't move the offense and you replace him with a
Yep.
guy that can move the offense. So I think that, bodes well for their overall wins. I think they at least get 10 wins is what I'm thinking, which I mean is
10.
very good. They could
Yeah.
end up being a sneaky playoff team.
Yeah. 10-7 will get you, and I think, yeah, because I don't think in the AFC West the Raiders aren't going anywhere. The Chargers are
Nope.
going to take more than a year. I don't think the Chargers win more than 7 games this year.
They'll
I
finish
think they
third.
finish 7-10, 8-9, something like
Right.
that.
Yep.
So the Chiefs 13-4,
Yeah.
14-3. That's where they'll be. They'll lose a couple early. It
Yep.
happens the last 2 years. They lose them
They'll at
early.
least split with the Broncos, I think.
The Broncos might get them one time. I don't know how the Raiders almost beat them twice last year, but they got them once.
Yeah.
So division is different. We know division football. You see them twice a year. You play them a lot in
Yep.
division. So those games are always close, just like the Steelers, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals. Regardless of how good the team is, you're like, oh, the Steelers are terrible this year. What the hell are they sweeping the Ravens for? Well,
Right.
the Steelers just have their
They
number
prepare
sometimes, and
well.
vice versa. Vice versa. I mean, they've been playing. This will be the 17th year? Harbaugh and Tomlin. That's wild.
That's pretty
Going
good.
against each other, and they've played each other, 40 something times now.
That's
That's
crazy.
wild. I mean, once in the playoffs, right? So that's pretty cool.
Usually you don't have two coaches in the same division last that long.
That long, and it just shows you how good the coaches are, right? Harbaugh and Tomlin.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the AFC West. So the next team, the Raiders. So yeah, we were talking about the Raiders. What are
Yeah,
they doing at
Minshew at
quarterback?
quarterback. I don't
What are they
know.
doing at quarterback, Brad? Make it make sense. You had a chance to draft. Here we go again. A team
Penix.
that continues to fuck up at drafting a quarterback. I
Yep.
just don't get it.
They did get a good tight end. I love Brock Bowers.
I do
He's
like him a
probably.
lot, but he
But
doesn't.
it's weird. They already had a tight end.
They
So
do,
why
but
would you
does he
draft two tight ends? Or
exactly?
have
Does Brock throw the ball?
right?
No, he does not.
It didn't make
Brock's
sense to draft
quarterback.
it. Yeah,
It made no
but
sense.
whatever.
But they're going to be terrible this year. Devontae Adams, by week 7, come
He's
before
gonna
the
want the
trade
hell
deadline, which
out.
is weekend, he going to want out. And I think he takes his talents either to New York to be with Aaron again, or Devontae will go back to Green Bay and be with Jordan Love. I can see
Yeah,
either way. So
possibly.
I don't really want to talk about the Raiders because they're trash.
They
They're trash.
ain't doing nothing.
They ain't doing shit. And then you got in the AFC West, you got what team are we missing?
Chargers,
Chargers. So,
which they
so
have a good team that,
they
like you
got a
said,
good
I
team.
mean, they're
They got a good roster. They got your boy Harbaugh. He got out of Dodge. He's
just in
like
time.
just in time, kind of like Pete Carroll. My boy got out of
Yep.
SC, right to Seattle. Won a Super Bowl. Should have won 2, but so we'll see. I think Harbaugh gets him running. They
Yeah,
drafted
Blake Corum,
Joel. Yep, you got
Joey
Corum from
Bosa.
Michigan. Yep. I like what they're doing.
Herbert's still a good quarterback. I think he's underrated, but it's just a tough division. I mean,
It's
it's
tough
just
division, and they don't have the receivers though. They don't. They
no
don't. They
lost
lost
Keenan
the tight
Allen.
end. They lost. Yep. So they're not. They're not going to be. Defensively, they might be still good though because you still got Bosa.
Right.
You got Khalil Mack. Right.
Yep.
So I mean, you still can get after it. So we'll see. Not much to touch there this year. I think next year they make a drastic improvement, but they're going to have to draft a receiver. Quentin Johnson from TCU. They drafted him like in the top 15, and he's not a first round
Yeah.
receiver. So I think he'll be a bust. But the Chargers they lost Keenan Allen. Well, they traded him to the Bears, which it's because he was on a 1-year deal and he wanted out.
Yep.
So, and now he's a free agent after this year. So we'll see. All right, now we got to go to the AFC South. I think this is an interesting division actually because it's the youngest division in football. But I'm going to
I think the Texans.
give me the Texans just because I'm a huge CJ Stroud. You knew that from last year. We talked about him. I really like him. Again, how the Panthers did not take him over Bryce Young. Make it make sense. You can't.
Nope.
Everyone knew CJ was that dude. Everybody. Yep. Everyone except the Carolina Panthers owner, David Tepper. What a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. But give me the Texans. They get Stephon Diggs to go with Nico Collins, Tank
Dalton
Dell.
Schultz.
I mean, they're so loaded. Offensive line, great.
Yep.
Defensively, I love their coach, DeMichael Ryans. I love their Derek Stingley Jr., their cornerback, probably a top 3 corner in the league already, only in his 3rd year. I mean, they got a light to like about them. So give me the Texans.
Jags finish
Jaguars
second.
after that will finish second. Give me the Jags. Well, Trevor got paid, almost,
which is crazy. I didn't expect him to get that much money.
I mean, he got
I was not expecting it.
That was a lot of money. I mean, not expected. Trevor, good for him, good for his bank account. There's no way I'm giving him $300 million though. There's not a chance.
Not if he hasn't done anything, but
no,
I mean,
I do like the running back, Travis Etienne. The receivers are good, Christian Kirk, and they do have some good players. Defensively, they'll be much improved. They drafted the corner. So we'll see. I do like their coach, Doug Peterson. I am a fan of his from the Eagles, remember?
Yep.
I do like Peterson, so we'll see. And then third, I got the Colts. Yep. I like Anthony Richardson, but I worry about his shoulder if he can stay healthy because that was a bad injury.
How was their line last year? Was their line pretty good? It was
their line's pretty good. They got a really good center, Ryan Kelly, and then they got the left guard from Notre Dame. So he's, and then they got that tackle. Can't remember his name, but he's from Stanford. So their offensive line, they're good. They're probably I put them in the top 15 for sure. Their offensive line. Jonathan Taylor's coming back. He's healthy.
Yep.
Michael Pittman at receiver. Who else you got? Who's opposite of him? I don't think they have anyone opposite of him. Big time numbers, but Michael Pittman is he's a true number one. I like him a lot. He's young too. He's only 4th year in the NFL. So
right.
So the Colts are a lot to like. Defensively, they're young. They're fast, but they're small. But defensive line, I think they have the best defensive line in football. Them and the Niners. They got DeForest Buckner, who's probably the best. They got him from the Niners. So he's an absolute monster. Immovable. I mean, 6 straight Pro Bowls, 6 straight all NFL. So he is a mountain of a man. No one moves him. So it all starts with him in the middle. So that's why they're able to get so much pressure, and that's why their defenders don't have to guard so much on the back end because he gets home, or if he doesn't get home, the other guys get home because he's taking the double teams. Sometimes you got to triple team him like Aaron Donald, TJ Watt, those guys like that. Myles Garrett for the Browns. So we'll see. And then who's bringing up the Titans? Yeah.
They didn't do much.
They didn't do much. Running back, not a fan. They lost Derrick Henry. That's huge. He goes to Baltimore, where I think he's going to thrive. I think Baltimore is going to love having that 2-headed monster with Lamar and him in the backfield. Pick your poison. No one's going to tackle even one of them at the end of the game. So, but the Titans are bad. I am a fan of their quarterback, though. I do think he's good. I do think
he is.
I do think he's good. I mean, he played his ass off against the Steelers. He had his best game against us last year, but we'll see. We'll see how they do. I definitely think they're at the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
Okay, and now we got to move to the AFC East.
East.
Okay. Let's do East. So East, we got
Buffalo.
Buffalo first. Bills, I think that's easy. You got the best
Yep.
player. I think he's going to get the MVP this year, Josh Allen. I'm saying
If he
that
can
now.
cut his interceptions down,
And
that's
he
what he's
will.
needs to
I think
work
a lot
on.
of it was because Diggs was a diva, and you're going to see Allen take off this year because they still got good weapons. Dalton Kincaid, their tight end,
Yep.
he's legit.
Yep.
I mean, he's legit. Best quarterback's best friend. So I think he picks up. He wins. He gets the MVP this year. I think he leads the league in touchdowns too. But we'll see because he can run the ball too, right? He'll get 4 or 5 running in. So give me the Bills defensively. They took a huge hit with Milano going down again.
Yep.
They're all-star, all-pro middle linebacker Matt Milano is out. That's terrible. I don't think he's out for the year.
No,
Don't
I think
quote me on
he's
that. But they
towards the
didn't
end
put
of the
him.
season. I think is what he's supposed to
Yeah, because
possibly come back.
they were thinking about putting him on the end of the season IR, but if they do, he's done. So I think they
Right.
wait. Maybe he comes back week 13, 14, in
Right.
time to help for the playoff push. Yep. So give me the Bills. And then after that, I'm going to take the Jets.
Dolphins.
No, I'm going to go Jets.
You gonna go Jets?
I'm going to go Jets.
I'm
Yeah.
not sold on the Jets.
Yeah, I think the Jets roster is just as good as the Dolphins. I don't think it's better. I just think it's there.
I just think Aaron
Defensively,
Rodgers is past his prime. I think
yeah,
he's done.
but they got the weapons. You got the running backs now. 2 running backs. They drafted the one. You got Garrett Wilson. You got all kinds of targets out there now for him, so he can't say he doesn't have targets. And defensively, they're a top 5 unit defensively. I mean,
Yeah.
they have the best corner to me. Sauce Gardner is the best corner.
Right.
I don't even think it's close. He's just so sound, physically gifted, long arms. He's got the longest arms of all corners, right? And he's 6'3", so you can't teach that again. So give me the Jets. Dolphins, I think, finished third. I'm not a believer in Tua. I know he just got that $215 million, but I don't even think he's going to finish the year, Brad. They almost got him killed 2 years ago. I mean, they legit tried to kill the kid.
Yep.
So Dolphins finished third. I don't like what they did defensively. So we'll see. I do like their coach, though. I do like
Yep.
McDaniel. Offensively, I think they'll be fine, but I don't think they could stop anyone when it counts. So they'll score 30, but they'll give up 35 is my belief.
Right.
Okay, and then bringing up the rear, the Patriots, the biggest bust of the draft to me, Drake May.
Yep.
I
New
do
coach.
like I do like Jared Mayo. I do like their coach, but we'll see.
Being a rookie season, I just
And that
it's
roster
gonna
is
be
terrible.
rough.
You
Yeah.
lose Judon, you release Juju, your number 2 receiver. It's going to be a rough year for them in Foxborough, and I love it.
That's what you get for all them years.
All the cheating, all that cheating. God damn it! So, all right. So now let's move to the best division to me in the football. I'm a bit biased because I'm a Steeler fan, but AFC North. I'm going to go with the Ravens finishing first. I'm a realist. Lamar, Derrick Henry coming over. They did lose a lot, though. You lost Patrick Queen to my Steelers. We'll get to him in a bit. I think that's a huge loss. I do think losing the defensive coach, losing your offensive coach, so you lost both coordinators.
Right.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yep.
And then you also lost on the back end your safety. He's gone, so he went to Cincinnati. So that's another rival that you lose. So on the back end, a player, I mean. So we'll see. I still think the Ravens have enough because I believe in Harbaugh. I believe in his philosophy. Hard nose. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball. In the playoff game, Brad, why did they stop running the ball? They were winning the fucking game. As soon as they changed the game plan, their offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, when he went to the pass, Lamar looked lost.
Yep.
He's like, we should be running the fucking football. I think this year they get back to it, carry the momentum. They need to get at home again, which they had last year.
Right.
Run the fucking ball against the Chiefs. They can be had in the run. You're not going to throw on them. Although this year you might be able to throw better because Snead's gone. But still run the fucking ball. Okay, and then second, I do think the Steelers might be able to get up in there. It's going to be the Bengals, though. It'll be between the Bengals and the Steelers. I don't see the Browns being good. So you go Bengals?
Not with Deshaun Watson.
No, they're last. I think the Browns are last. So you'll go, Brad, you're going Bengals. I'll go my Steelers. A little homer there.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Bengals then. Let's talk about the Bengals first before we go to Steelers. So Burrow coming back healthy, 2 years removed from the knee now, right?
Jamar
So
Chase,
Jamar Chase,
freaking
even though
great
he's
receiver.
a hold in, it's not hold out, it's a hold in, but
Right.
so he'll be back. He's already said he'll be back for week 1. He's just
Yep.
missing all training camp preseason. He don't need the preseason. The kid woke up, still runs a 4.3, and can catch everything and jump out of the 45-inch vert like super bunnies, right?
And I mean, him and Burrow have a good rapport together, so
Yes, and that's
it's
going
not
back
like
from college, right? And
right.
they do it in their sleep. It's amazing. You got T. Higgins returning on the
Yep.
franchise. This will be his last year, I think. He's gone because they still have receivers behind him that
Oh,
they have
and
to pay.
Mixon left. I forgot about that. Mixon
Mixon
went to the
left. Oh,
Texans.
he went to the Texans. We didn't talk about Joe Mixon. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think it's
forgot
as
he
big as
left.
loss as people think. I like Chad Brown, the running back that they got. He gashed the Steelers last year, by the way, even though we
Yeah,
swept the Bengals. Chad Brown gashed us, and then they drafted a running back, right? They drafted another guy, I think.
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
but defensively, Bengals are good. You like
Yep.
Hubbard, Sam Hubbard, their linebackers, defensive line. They take a little hit there. They lost B.J. Hill. He's gone, so that's the big road grader up front. So he's gone. I think he went to Tennessee. So that was a good pickup for them. But they'll be fine. The Bengals will be there. You say they're second. I say they finish. It's a toss up between them and the Steelers. Um, so now the Steelers. I think it's Fields going to be the starter. Not in the beginning of the year. It'll be Russell, but I think Russell loses it before week 3. Fields takes over, and the Steelers' offense improves dramatically. Defensively, we'll be top 10 again. We were top 10 in defense last year.
Right.
I think we'll be top 10 again. TJ Watt, anytime he plays, he's a defense player of the year. He got robbed, by
Yep.
the way, last year again. There's no way Garrett should have got that. Should have been TJ third defensive player of the year. He didn't get it. Went to Myles Garrett, whatever. Offensively, you got to like Warren, Najee Harris, but I'm worried about our
Yeah,
offensive
Roman
line.
Wilson.
Yep. Roman Wilson as the 3. You got George Pickens from Georgia, our number 1.
Yep.
2 is Van Jefferson. We got him from the Rams. I do like him. He's got to stay healthy, though, because he had a good year 2 years ago for the Rams when they made
I
that
just
run.
worry about their line.
So
Their line's
our
suspect.
offense, and yeah, we just lost Herbig, our starting center, but our rookie's going to start now, who I like a lot, Zach Frazier from West Virginia. Second-round pick. He'll be starting now, so I'm excited about that. But Fontenot, the left tackle, he's hurt. He hurt his ankle first game. They said he might be ready week 1. I hope so. So we'll see. You got Broderick Jones on the right side. This will be his second year. He was a rookie last year from Georgia. So I like it. They're just young. They just got to play together. You got to gel. That's how you get better. Defensively, love Queen coming over from Baltimore. Obviously, we talked about him.
Yep.
Sideline to sideline, middle linebacker. He can just fly, athletically gifted, runs a 4.6, 6'4", 250. I mean, everything you want in a linebacker. Some people say he did better because he played next to Raekwon, Smith
Right.
there in Baltimore, but I don't think that's fair because would you say that about Bulware when he was next to Ray Lewis? No,
Nope.
Bulware was a beast.
They just complement
in his
each
own
other.
right, they just complemented each other so well. So I think that's what you'll see with Queen in Pittsburgh. Obviously,
Yep.
TJ Watt. You got Alex Highsmith on the other side, who had 12 sacks last year. Another young, good player. So we'll see. Linebackers are fine. The back end is where I'm worried. I love Porter, but after Porter, we don't really have anyone. Deontay Jackson, I like him, but will he be able to be physical enough? He's small. He's a smaller corner. He can fly. He runs a 4.3. So we'll see. Safeties, Minka Fitzpatrick. He's, to me, the best free safety.
Beast.
He's the best free safety in the game. Still don't understand why the Dolphins got rid of him. So
Don't
best
either.
free safety in the game. Strong safety. I do like the new guy we got from the Dolphins. Figured that. Deshaun Elliott. So we got both of our safeties from the Dolphins. And so I'm excited about that. So we'll see. Then
The
Browns,
Browns.
not a fan of Deshaun.
Nope.
It's
I
sad
got
because
Judy.
the rest of that roster is loaded. I mean, they have
Yep.
Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, Grant Delpit from LSU.
Chubb.
I mean Chubb. They got so much talent. Chubb is coming off that serious injury, but it's amazing he's even able to play. So we'll see.
And we'll see how Judy does with them, because he couldn't do anything with Denver, which may
No.
have been because he was just unhappy. I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
think he was unhappy. But Judy,
couldn't catch a damn cold while he was there,
no,
which was weird because he was one of the best receivers
coming
hands
out.
wise in college. So it didn't
Yeah,
make much sense why he couldn't catch the damn ball.
I think he was just frustrated. I think it had a lot to do with what happened out in Denver.
Yeah,
You know,
with the offense and having Russell Wilson there,
yeah, I
it
think they
was
were
not
just
working.
depressed. Yeah, it just was not working. And
And
they
then
went to one of
before him, who the hell was the quarterback before Wilson? I should probably know this. It wasn't Locke.
the
Teddy Bridgewater.
yeah, Teddy
It was
for
freaking
the
garbage.
season. Yeah. And Teddy did pretty good for the Dolphins, but did not do good for the Broncos.
No.
But that's it. That's it for football. So we can transition to baseball real quick because the
Yeah.
postseason it'll be coming up here. It's the last month coming up, September, right? So we've got one more month, a little over a month, about 5 weeks left of baseball. What do you think? How do you feel about not only about your Cardinals, but what do you think about heading into the now that the dog days of summer are over officially, and right, it's about to turn to Labor Day. So here
Yeah, it's
comes
gonna be
fall.
interesting. I know the NL is pretty tight as far as the wild card goes. I think most of the teams are 5-6 games out. It's
Yep.
fairly close. I mean, the only division. I mean, you got Milwaukee, who's a surprise. I didn't think they were going to be that good this year, but their
Pitching.
coach has really,
Yep.
worked well for that team. They got Reese Hoskins, who's a great player. William Contreras, who's a freaking probably better catcher than his brother is.
Which is wild.
Yeah, and
Wild.
then they got young players that I didn't feel. I mean, they lost Corbin Burns, and I figured they were going
Take
to
a
be
step
done.
back.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I mean, they've been fine and
It's
have
the
won
bullpen.
73 games, so
Yep.
it's
And the
crazy. And of course, your Dodgers. I mean, they've got a hell of a team. I mean, they're stacked from top to bottom, and
yep,
freaking
we're just now getting healthy.
pissed me off
Finally.
that we traded Tommy Edman to them, because I love Tommy Edman. That kid's
I
one of
like
the
him.
probably freaking best shortstops in the league. I mean, he's
Defensively.
hustles.
Yep.
He's everything you want in a shortstop. I mean, he freaking, he'll hit
Speed.
nice, hits and get on base, and he can steal bases. I don't understand that move by the Cardinals. It made no. And then they freaking just sent Nolan Gorman down to freaking AAA yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
And
why would you trade Tommy Edman,
I
who was
know.
coming
And then
back from an injury, who could play second base, and trade, and then send Gorman, who can't hit a freaking ball right now this whole season?
Yeah, you know who the Dodgers just DFA'd? Jason Hayward. The
Yeah, I
Cardinals
saw that
picked him
today.
up. He could play right field because Mookie's right field now, so that's why they DFA'd him. There's just no spot for him. Now
Yeah,
that Mookie's not at short anymore, Gavin
right.
Lux is starting to hit.
Yep.
Gavin's been hitting real good, so they had to figure out what they're going to do, so they just DFA'd him. But I
Yeah.
think the Cardinals should go after him. I heard the Braves are going to get
Hell
Jason.
no. I don't want freaking Hayward.
No,
No.
well, the Braves are
No.
going to get him because they just lost what's his name, Bill Riley, so they need another man. That was a tough break. He broke his hand. That's
I know.
8 weeks. That puts him out pretty much for
Probably
the year.
close to the postseason.
Yeah, that's the bummer, man.
Yeah. He was a hell of he's probably one of the best third basemen. But I mean, you got the Phillies, who are they're freaking dominant. Like
yeah,
that
they're
team,
dominant. The pitching, bullpen,
hitting top to
they can
bottom.
hit. Yeah, the Phillies are. I think in the NL, I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the Phillies and the Dodgers this year, and then
I think Phillies back in the World Series. I don't
yeah,
see
if
any really team beating them.
Dodgers only won if they're healthy. That's it.
Right.
But we need
Braves
pitching.
are taking too many hits, especially
No.
losing Spencer Strider.
Yeah,
That killed them. That hurt.
And then they lost the right fielder, Acuna. So you can't do it without those two. So yeah, Braves are out of the mix. But in the AL, you got the Orioles.
Yankees.
I like the Orioles a lot.
Oh my gosh, that team is
Yankees.
Jackson Holiday. That kid is phenomenal. God,
Yeah,
I wish the Cardinals could have got him.
I know once he learns how to hit, because he's not right now. It's just he's got such a pretty swing. But wait till he starts to hit like his dad, where he learns how to hit.
Oh my gosh,
he's gonna be an all world. I mean, people are like, he's batting 181. I'm like, he's just turned 20.
Well, he's batting 181 because he struggled at the beginning of the year and had to go back down to the minors because
now
I think
he's got 6 home runs now.
Right, I think a lot of the pressure got to him, so then it kind of went back down, kind of reset, and then came back up.
Yeah, and it's okay. It happens. Not everyone comes up and is, Chipper Jones or Ken Griffey. Right. It's okay. As long as you're good, you're going to have a 20-year career. He's going to be just like Cal Ripken Jr. Healthy, play every day. He's smiling. He's happy. Plays with his head on fire. his hair on fire. So,
Yeah.
yep. So I'm
The
excited for
only thing
baseball.
I like is kind of drives me crazy about baseball was currently is happening is who's the kid out of Pittsburgh? Skeens.
Skeens, yeah, Paul Skeens, yeah, I like him
They're
also.
talking about shutting him down for the year.
I hope they
And I'm
don't.
like,
No,
that it's manipulating the freaking contracts of these
which
kids.
I hate. And also, the kid he's a unit. I mean, are you kidding
Right.
me? He is an absolute unit.
But all
So,
they're wanting to do is just hold it so they, don't have to pay him as much in the back end, which
yeah,
is
but they're
just
getting the kid's
crazy.
gonna end up getting 300 million easily, if not more.
Right.
These
I mean, he's
contracts are ballooning, and it is what it is. But with revenue sharing, Pittsburgh can afford it. They're making
yeah.
300 million a year. After
But
revenue sharing.
they've always been cheap. I
I
mean,
know
that's just
it's because
that's
it's
the
just the way it
Pirates'
is.
way. The
It's the
Pirates, they're cheap. You got the Marlins who are cheap. You
Yep.
got Tampa Bay, they're cheap, but somehow they find ways to freaking
Well, it's
win.
because they draft so well. They just draft.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
they trade well too, which
and
we
that too.
traded Carlson, which for some reason our leftovers go to Tampa Bay and thrive for
Well,
whatever reason
well,
because
it's like
our
the Oakland A's. They trade all their players to the Yankees, and they try to
yeah.
be superstars.
I feel bad for the
you
fans
know,
of Oakland. That damn
It's
team.
so bad. It's so bad, man. Just terrible. But I am excited for baseball, though, playoffs and football, and then you got college football.
Yeah,
But
which not much going on this week with college
no,
football.
I was about to say we can touch on that next week because
Yeah,
the
that'll be
big season,
the big games
big
are coming
kickoff.
up.
So, yep,
Yep. So we'll wrap it up because I think
yep.
we were like at 50 minutes. So I
That's
don't
not
know
bad.
how much.
We'll see.
Yeah, not bad.
Yep.
We'll see how our activity is as far
Yeah, I
as
was about to say.
watching and everything. But we'll pick it up again next week. And keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, next week we'll try to cut it down. Probably 45 minutes, I think, should be.
Yeah.
I just lost track of the time. That's why I had my counter on here.
Well,
So we were
football is a lot.
so,
You got so much to cover with the NFL
exactly
coming
with the
up, and
divisions. And it was the first week. So once we get into the
yeah, this would be
games.
preseason this week. So the third week
Yep.
of preseason, so not much is happening. So we can touch
All
on
righty.
baseball or whatever NCAA
All
next
right.
week.
Yep.
All
See you
right.
next week.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
All right.